You wake up at midnight, grab your shovel, and head out to steal a fresh corpse before the butcher's dog finds it first. You're technically not a criminal. You're a resurrectionist, which is a fancy way of saying you dig up dead people for money. Not enough money, and definitely not enough whiskey. In Europe, back in the 1820s, medical schools had a problem. They needed human bodies to teach anatomy, but you couldn't just donate your body to science back then. The only legal cadavers came from executed criminals, and there weren't nearly enough hangings to meet demand. Surgeons were desperate, so they turned to people like you, quiet, fast, and untraceable. You weren't officially hired, but they always had cash, and they didn't ask where the merchandise came from. You worked in silence, in the dark, in the cold, and your tools were nothing but a shovel, a sack, and maybe a bottle of hooch to calm your nerves. You didn't have gloves, a mask, or even a lantern, just moonlight and the shirt on your back. The job wasn't just disgusting, it was dangerous. Graves were deep, coffin lids splintered, and if the ground shifted while you were inside, you could get crushed or buried alive. You'd dig just enough to crack open the lid, yank out the corpse, and strip it down naked. Clothing was considered property, so it stayed behind. Then you'd drag the body out and vanish before anyone noticed. The whole process took maybe 15 minutes, if you were good. If you weren't, you risked getting caught, or injured, or both. You smelled like death, got sick constantly, and people crossed the street to avoid you. All of that just to get paid a few coins. Not enough to live well, just enough to keep doing it. Villagers knew what you were up to, and they hated you for it. Some hired armed guards to watch the graveyard. Others set booby traps, tripwires, pits, even spring-loaded guns. Some even rigged coffins to explode. They didn't just bury their dead, they weaponized them. And then there were rival resurrectionist crews. This was a business, and business meant turf. Dig in the wrong cemetery, you might get a shovel to the ribs. Or worse, end up in a coffin yourself. And if the locals caught you? Mob justice. It was fists, sticks, and maybe a pitchfork or two. The courts weren't much better. Stealing a corpse wasn't technically theft, because a body had no legal owner, but judges still threw the book at you. Some got jail time, others got hard labor, and a few were lucky to escape with their teeth. At first, it was just about getting bodies, but then the surgeons got picky. They started paying more for fresher corpses, which meant less digging and more creative sourcing. Some resurrectionists got impatient, others got violent, and two guys in Edinburgh, Burke and Hare, figured out it was easier to make corpses than to dig them up. They murdered at least 16 people and sold the bodies to a surgeon who definitely didn't ask questions. When the public found out, they lost it. Riots, trials, total chaos. Governments rushed to change the laws. And just like that, your career was over. No more loopholes. No more back alley deals. No more grave robbing. But by then, you were broke, hated, and probably haunted. So, the resurrectionist gig was dead, but some people just didn't get the memo. A few turned informant, snitching on their old crews for beer money and bail. Others kept going and tried to get clever. Dig up a corpse, sell it, then dig it up again and sell it twice. One guy allegedly flipped the same body 3 times before someone noticed the leg was missing. And in the end, even the resurrectionists weren't safe from resurrectionists. Their bodies were just as profitable as anyone else's. Poetic justice, some might say. So if your job involves sneaking around at night and hoping nobody checks the basement, you might be a resurrectionist. And if you made it to the end of this video without gagging at least once, check out why it sucks to be a hereditary poop farmer. Because stealing bodies for science is bad, but hauling poop for generations? That's a legacy no one wants.